Hi, folks. This is Louis Hertham, the original Peter Abernathy. Hell is empty and all the devils are here on the Shat on TV Westworld podcast with Roger, Gene, and Big D.
Welcome back to Shat on TV Westworld, the unofficial podcast companion piece to the hit HBO series Westworld. I'm one of your hosts, Ash, and alongside me is my co-host, Big D, Dick Ebert.
Good evening.
And this is our Instacast episode where we look back on this week's episode of Westworld and provide our immediate reactions and feedback. And this episode's title was Fidelity. So before we get into it, just as a reminder, in our Instacast, we are going to give our opinions. This is going to be the one opportunity that we get to talk about that. So if you are here for analysis only, please feel free to go ahead and hit pause and join us on Tuesday for our deep dive. But if you want to find out what we as a Shat crew thought, then that is what we are here for tonight. So to get straight into it, we got some feedback on YouTube that if I went first, that made the two of you not like the episode, which I thought was super laughable because Gene has hated the episodes more than me, but it's fine. So tonight we're going to flip the switch, and Big D, Dick Ebert, we're going to put the pressure on you. So what did you think, sir, of this week's episode, Fidelity, episode 6, season 4 of Westworld?
Well, I think it's partially because I'm the usually I see the glass is half full with the show. So you put me first, just get everybody warmed up, then the negativity, at least to get them a little further in.
Yeah.
But I want to remind everybody, we dealt with this on the Telegraph last week, is that we've just immediately watched the episode. And doing a podcast, it's not like you're sitting there and enjoying the show. So I find myself conflicted a lot because I'm trying to decode in real time, trying to take notes, trying to feel out where the episode's going, having emotional responses to what we're learning. So it is complex. And what I've tried to do the last couple of weeks is to think about the things I like, the things that I'm not sure of. But again, until I've watched it 2 or 3 times, it's hard to give an honest impression. But for me, I've realized that anytime Jeffrey Wright is on screen, that my enjoyment of the episode immediately climbs exponentially.
Agreed.
Whether it's him or Ed Harris, I feel like these are the two actors that are credible in the roles. They've gone back to the beginning, and it reminds me everything that I love about the show. So I immediately start off the episode happier, content, and enjoying it. It feels like Westworld. And as far as this episode goes, I was extremely relieved that we finally get some confirmation that what I thought and what a lot of people thought was incompetence within Charloris, the host, security, everything that we've seen looked like people being incompetent and not being able to handle the situation, and a couple outliers breaking into the city was actually part of the plan and not incompetence at all. It was intentional. The New York raid, we questioned driving the yacht in and getting no security response. It was intentional. They let them in and out. They had replaced one of the members of the team, which we had kind of suspected, some of our listeners. And they can get out of the city without any resistance. And this episode continued that. We get to see the multiple Calebs, and I really enjoyed. I like seeing them all in their cages, looking at each other, different levels of development. We have probably, what is in there, like 275, 76, 77. He's 78, and 79 is still in the tub. And I'm finding myself, how is nobody seeing these bloody handprints, this cookie crumb set up throughout the maze all the way up to the roof? I'm thinking, okay, somebody has to see this. And we learned that it was incompetence. I'm happy. But then the show doubles down, and we get to see an earlier scene where young Frankie meets Jay, and the people play the worst game of freeze tag. They're moving, they're shaking, and these drones cannot spot them until one of the guys blinks. So they make me happy, but at the same time drive me nuts.
Yeah, I think the inconsistencies, right? That's a lot of what we've been talking about all season, is just the inconsistencies. And we're getting a lot of feedback that maybe all the inconsistencies are intentional, right? Like these things exist to throw us off track, or there's a greater purpose. And I hope so, because I continue to just be really baffled by Hale's choices. I get it. She's trying to find answers in terms of who these outliers are. And she's being creative by trying to find them through Caleb. I don't have a problem with any of that plot line at all. But she has so much power at her disposal. And so I just have to ask eventually, like, why all the charades? Like, why work so hard in these ways? Because the perfect example of this is in this episode where she says she, quote unquote, sent a friend Frankie's way. So if she knows where these outliers are, why not literally send everybody or just send your like muscle only, drone dudes to go kill all of these outliers if you know where they are? That doesn't make any sense to me. And I hope we get a reason. But for now, it just feels like she's just making things more complicated than they have to be. And, it's little things like turning that timer over with the red all dramatically. Like, I get it. But why make all these Calebs? Because you get this weird, like, being John Malkovich thing going on where, like, at the end in the restaurant, like, everybody's John Malkovich. Like, that's what it felt like with Caleb here. So I just need to know a little bit more about why they're making him do this over and over again. And then why make this decision to just, like, kill them all and to just get rid of all of them? It reminds me of my friend Ricky. He decided he was going to raise emus all of a sudden. And the emus were just a horrible investment. They were a horrible nuisance. And one day he just got so pissed, he went out and he shot like all 5 of them in his backyard because he just got so mad at them. He just killed them all one day and sold them for like their meat. And I feel the same way about Hale as I do about my friend Ricky. Like, you've spent all this time and investment building these Calebs to just smoke them all. No.
But I think we get the answer in that Hale is searching for an answer. She's lost. And that the answer she got eventually, that she is the virus that's affecting the host herself, is something that she could never conceive of and can't deal with the fact. So I think it makes sense that she would terminate the whole group. I'm a little surprised that we get to see 279 being born. I wonder if Caleb had something to do when he was with that printing booth alone and had smashed the drone's face in. But I think that makes sense. I hope, again, just like in this episode that we learned that the incompetence was really intentional.
Yeah.
It could be the fact that she doesn't care about Frankie that much. I'm not going to waste assets on you. You're out there, whatever. Caleb doesn't matter. You wasted this whole message. Your daughter doesn't mean shit. She doesn't know Maeve's out there. And she's just ready. She's done with it all. She's going to shoot the emus. That's what she's going to do.
Right. Yeah. Shoot the fucking emus, right? I just want to find out why. And if there's a reason, I'm totally here for it. I'm not writing it off. It just feels messy right now. Now, what did I like about this episode? Well, I fucking loved being back in Westworld, even though it is absolutely dilapidated and broken down and gross. Just being back there was really cool. I loved seeing Bernard. I love this irony of Maeve being reborn in the place that we first met her in. I thought that was really cool. I loved that Frankie is a badass. This is a new character that I can get behind, so much so I like Frankie so much more than her dad. And I've been watching her dad for over a season now. I think Frankie is awesome. This actress is in that show Prodigal Son, which I thought was a really great show that died too early. And she's great here. I love that she just takes care of this mole immediately. And she's a smart girl. She acts like she's been living in this post-apocalyptic scenario for years and knows what to do. And I also love that Maeve has realized it's Caleb's daughter. That reveal was great. All good. But Hale better be infected because her choices just seem way fucking off.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I mean, at least this is another one of those episodes we mentioned where I'm excited to go back and watch it because I feel like there is much more there. That on the first watch, you're trying to string all these ideas and what's going on together. I think this is one of those episodes that going back and rewatching will be even more enjoyable than this first time. And that's why tomorrow, I think what I want to do for the deep dive is, besides go back and look if there's additional information in the reveal that we got of the ubiquitous system, which was in the park, which was the upgraded hat system, which seems like they were collecting more data faster about the people who are in the park. And I also want to go into one of the ideas that we've talked about, free will. And what does it mean to be human? There is a human emotion that we've overlooked, which is a huge one at the end, which is hope. I want to go back and research because there was a famous study done about the power of hope and how when people believe there is a chance for survival or to achieve whatever they want, it changes all the possibilities. And there was a famous study about drowning rats that I want to go back and see if there's something we could pull from that. But that's what I'm thinking about for the deep dive on Tuesday. And again, looking forward to watching this episode again because I think there's a lot more there to digest.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I always enjoy the rewatch for sure. I think sometimes we get a lot of criticism because they're like, well, you just watched it. Well, yeah, we did. We just watched it. Like we get on like 15 minutes afterwards and we give kind of these initial reactions. I almost wish that like our Instacast could be like tomorrow morning. So like we had more time to reflect. But I will say that for the deep dive, I want to look at this continued conversation about host and human interactions because we get this little bit of an answer here that kind of like the hosts feel their own uselessness, right? Like they're not being necessarily infected, but that they are being influenced in the same way that the humans are when they become conscious in this way. So I want to keep looking into that. What did we find out to continue to answer these questions? Because I am still of the mind that this is deeply connected to this essential question of Westworld, which is, what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to be alive? And then I also want to look at the fidelity testing that we saw in this episode, because the fidelity testing of Caleb and what he's going through in all these little glass cabin rooms is totally different than any other fidelity testing that we've seen on this show before. And I thought it was fascinating. And I don't know if I really understand the purpose of it. I mean, I understand the greater purpose in terms of how it was driving the plot forward, but I don't know if I understand like how Hale like came up with this and how her idea of having them all together, because we've seen like one iteration at a time that's being fidelity tested previously. And so having multiples being used to fidelity test another one, I think is kind of a fascinating idea. So I'm looking forward to kind of digging into this. And I'm looking forward, as always, to our deep dive. And please remember, if you want to help us with these theories, if you have theories of your own, if you have other topics that you want us to cover, please feel free to write in at host@shatontv.com. We would love to hear from you so that we can figure out this puzzle together and figure out if we're going to get to the end of any maze this season with only 2 episodes left to go. But that concludes this week's episode of Shat on TV Westworld. Please be sure to follow us on social media and share with a friend. We're on Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram at Shat on TV. We're on Facebook, where you can search for Shat on TV Podcast. Our website is shatpod.com/TV, and our email, as I've said, is host@shatontv.com. We're everywhere fine podcasts can be found, including iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Pandora, Spotify, and YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, and if you stop by iTunes, please be sure to leave a 5-star review. That helps the podcast grow. On behalf of my co-host, Big D Dick Ebert and Jean Lyons, I'm Ash, and be sure to join us on Tuesday for our deep dive of this Westworld episode, Fidelity.